Hello, in this video we will solve 9702 component 12 May-June 2023. So first question is a stone sinks in water. What is a possible value for the density of stone? We know that density of water is 10 raised to power 3 kg per meter cube. So and we know that an object will sink only if its density will be more than that. So option A is rejected. Option C is rejected because its unit is given wrong. Option D is also rejected. Option B is the correct one. Second question, GM, TM. So GM here is gigameter, TM is terameter, micrometer, picometer. So this will be 10 raised to power 9, 10 raised to power 12, 10 raised to power minus 6 and 10 raised to power minus 12. So largest unit is terameter and smallest is picometer. So option D is the correct. Third question, two measurements for a solid sphere are mass and diameter is given. So if determine the density, then what will be the percentage uncertainty? Now we know that density is given as mass upon volume, and since the object is sphere, so its volume will be 4 by 3 pi r cube. But here diameter is given, so in terms of diameter we can write 4 by 3 pi. Diameter is radius equal to d by 2, so it will become d cube by 8. All this is constant, so means in percentage uncertainty density will be percentage uncertainty in mass plus, since it is d cube means you have to multiply with the power, so 3 into percentage uncertainty in d. Now percentage uncertainty in mass will be 0.1 divided by 32.5 into 100 plus 3 into percentage uncertainty in d will be 0.04 divided by 1.87 into 100. So on solving this you will get 6.7%. Question number 4. An aircraft travels along a horizontal path. Two of the forces that act horizontally on the aircraft are thrust and the force due to wind. Vector diagram is shown. Which vector represents the resultant horizontal force acting on the aircraft due to? Now we know that resultant will be acting somewhere here. We can find it using parallelogram law of vector addition, which states that if two vectors are represented by two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, then their resultant is given by the diagonal. So here this will be the resultant. So option number for it will be C. Question 5. A ball travels from x to y around a semicircular track. What is the displacement from x to y? We know that displacement is the shortest path covered. So this will be the displacement. So it is towards south, and this is equal to diameter. Radius is 1, to diameter is 2. 2 meter due south. Option B is correct. Question number 6. A rock is vertically upward launched. A rock is launched vertically upward from the surface of the earth, and an identical rock is launched vertically upward from the surface of Mars. Each rock is launched with an initial velocity 12 meter per second. Each rock reaches its maximum height. Now at maximum height we know that speed will become 0 and velocity time graph is, so at this point speed is 0 for first rock for earth. At this point it is 0. This means this is the maximum height. At this point the distance covered will be the maximum height for earth, and this point distance covered will be the maximum point height for Mars. And we know that area under velocity time graph is equal to distance. So and since the shape here is triangular, so area will be half into base into height. For case of earth this will be 1 2 3 4 5 6, so half into 1.2 into 12 in case of earth, and in case of Mars it will be half into, so this will be, this is 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 3.2 into 12. So difference in the maximum heights will be half, we can take common, 12 we can take common, to 3.2 minus 1.2, it will be 6 into 2, that is 12 meter. So option A is correct. Question 7. Which statement describes the mass of an object? So option A, the force. Mass is never a force. Momentum. Mass is never a momentum. It is not a weight. The resistance of the object to change in motion. Means if there is a car of mass 1000 kg and there is a bicycle of mass 10 kg, both are at rest, and if you want to move, so more force will be needed in case of car. This why? Because it is having more mass and it is giving more resistance. So option C is the correct one. Question number 8. A submarine of total mass 3200 kg is at rest underwater. Total mass of the submarine is suddenly decreased by 200 kg by pumping water out of the submarine horizontally in a negligible time. Upthrust acting is unchanged. The change in total weight causes it to vertically accelerate. Now, initially, what will happen? Its weight will be acting downward. That is equal to 3200 into 9.81. And same will be the upthrust acting upward. That is 3200 into 9.81. Why same? Because it is at rest. Now, if the mass is decreased by 200 kg, this means its weight now will become, new weight will become 3000 into new weight will become 3000 because mass is decreased by 200 kg into 9.81, but upthrust remaining same, it is unchanged. This means now net upward force is acting, net force is acting in the upward direction, and it is equal to 9.81 into 3200 minus 3000, that is 9.81 into 200. This is net force acting. Now this net force will provide acceleration. We know that F net is equal to mass into acceleration. Now 9.81 into 200 is equal to mass. Now mass we have to consider 3000 here because it is decreased. Multiply by acceleration A, we can calculate, it will 9.81 into 200 divided by 3000. So on calculation you will get this as 10.5. Note. So let me do the calculation. It will come out to be 0.654. 0.654 meter per second square. Question 9. A box in air slides with increasing speed down a slope from P to Q. The slope surface exerts a constant frictional force on the box. As the box moves from P to Q, there are changes to the magnitude of its acceleration and total resistive force. We know that as the object is moving or it is coming down the slope which is offering a frictional force, so as it will come down, so its speed will increase due to acceleration, but due to frictional force opposing force will be provided, so its magnitude of acceleration will decrease. Now magnitude of acceleration will decrease, and due to increase in speed the resistive force will increase. So magnitude of total resistive force will increase and magnitude of acceleration will decrease. So option D is the correct. Question 10. Two balls XY approach each other along the same straight line and collide. The collision is perfectly elastic. So it is given perfectly elastic collision. Their initial speeds are ux, uy. After the collision, they move apart with speed vx and vy. Their directions are shown. Now we know that in perfectly elastic collision, relative speed of approach, relative speed of approach is equal relative speed of separation. Now relative speed of approach here, since it the when two objects, like if particle A is moving in this direction with speed va and in opposite direction with vb, then relative speed of A with respect to B is given as va plus vb when objects are moving in opposite direction. So relative speed of approach will be ux plus uy, and even after they are moving in opposite direction, so relative speed of separation will be vx plus vy. So option A is the correct one. 11th question. A road is pivoted at point O. A force F is applied at the road at point W. What is the moment of force F about O? Now we know that if you want to calculate moment, it is equal to force into perpendicular distance. So force is F and perpendicular distance of the line of action of force from the pivot is OY. So option B is the correct one, F into distance OY. Question 12. A uniform rod XY of weight 10 Newton is freely hinged to a wall at X. It is held horizontal by a force F acting from Y at an angle 30 degree to the horizontal. What is the value of F? If it is held horizontal, this means anti-clockwise sum of the anti-clockwise movement is equal to sum of clockwise movement. Now this force is acting here, so component of the force acting perpendicular will be F sine 30 degree. Since the road is uniform, this means its weight will be acting at the center. Let's say this total distance is x. So this will be acting at x by 2. Now this weight is providing, we know it is clockwise movement and this force will provide anti-clockwise movement. So this means 10 into x by 2 is equal to f sine 30 degree into x. X and x will cancel out, and we know that sine 30 is 1 by 2, so on solving you will get F is equal to 10 Newton. That is option C. Option C is correct. Question 13. Two solid cubes X and Y are made of material of the same density. Cube X has twice the mass of cube Y. Cube X has sides of length X. Cube Y has sides of length Y. What is the ratio X by Y? Now, if they are made up of same object, this means the density is same, means density of X is equal to density of Y, and density is given as mass of X divided by mass of volume, volume of X is equal mass of Y divided by volume of Y. So if we take ratio of volume of X by volume of Y, then it will be equal to mass of X by mass of Y, and mass X has twice the mass, this means this is 2 by 1, and since it is cube we know that volume of cube is given by side cube, so it will be, and x cube divided by y cube is equal to 2 by 1, or ratio of x by y is equal to cube root of 2 by 1, that is cube root of 2, and this will be equal to 1.26. Option A is correct. 14th question. A U-shaped glass tube contains liquid of density 2000 kg per meter cube. What is the difference in pressure due to the liquid between levels P and Q? Now we know that pressure difference between 2 points is given as P is equal to rho G into delta H. Density is given 2000, G value 9.81, and difference in height here from this and this point is 10 minus 6. It will come out in centimeters, so multiply by 10 raised to power minus 2, because here meter cube per meter cube we are taking. So on solving you will get pressure will come out to be 780 Pascal after rounding off. Question 15th. A steam turbine is used to drive a generator. The input power to the turbine is Pi and output is Po. The power loss is PL. What is the efficiency? We know that efficiency is given as output power. Efficiency is given as output power divided by input power. So output power is Po, input is Pi, so option D is correct. 16th question. A variable force is applied to ensure that a constant power is supplied to train. Which graph best show the variation of the force F applied with the velocity V of the train? Now we know that power is given as force into velocity, and if you want to keep power constant, this means if one is increasing another should decrease. So from the figures we can see in figure A, as the velocity is increasing, force is decreasing, so power will remain constant. So option A is the correct one. Question 17. A block is released from rest and slides a distance x down a straight slope. The slope is at an angle theta to the horizontal. Slope is frictionless and air resistance is negligible. Acceleration of free fall is g. Which expression gives the final speed of the block? Okay. So first of all, we will draw the free body diagram. So its weight mg will be acting downward, and we can resolve mg into two components. This will be contact force n. This angle is theta. This will be theta. So this will be mg cos theta. This component will be mg sin theta, and so net force is equal to mg sin theta, na, in this direction, and mass into acceleration is equal to mg sin theta. So we can see acceleration a is equal to g sin theta. Okay, now release from rest means initial velocity u is equal to 0, and we know that v square minus u square is equal to 2as. So final velocity v attained square minus 0 is equal to 2 into acceleration is g sin theta, and the displacement is x here. So final velocity v is equal to 2gx sin theta square root. So option B is correct. Question 18, what is meant by spring constant? So we know that force is given as kx. So spring constant k is force per unit extension. Option D is correct. 19th question, a child holds a thin metal wire that is attached to a kite. The graph show how the extension of the wire varies with its tension. Gust of wind increases tension from 100 to 150. What is the change in the elastic potential energy? We know that change in elastic potential energy will be equal to work done, and work done is equal to area under graph. Clear? And change in potential energy, if you want to find, so when it is at 100 newtons, so this is the area. After that you will take this complete area. So change, if you want to find, you can take final area minus initial area. So final area will be half into 0.45 into 150, and initial will be half into 0.30 into 100. So change will be half, you can take common, 0.45 into 150 minus 0.30 into 100. So on solving you will get the difference will come out to be 19 into 10 raised to power minus 3 joule, or 19 millijoule. Question 20, a microphone detects a sound wave. The microphone is connected to CRO. Shape of the trace on the screen of CRO is shown. Which property can be measured by using only the measurement of horizontal distance? So on horizontal distance we can measure time period, because this is time axis. Time gain is given, we can measure time period, and we know that time period is equal to 1 upon frequency. So frequency can be measured. 21st question, a longitudinal wave is traveling from left to right. The graph shows the variation of the displacement of the particles with distance along the wave at one instant in time. Displacement to the right are positive and to the left are negative. Okay, which label point represent a compression? Now when the displacement is positive, this means particles are moving towards right, means in this region all the particles are moving towards right, and in this region since it is negative, so means particles are moving towards left. So one particle is moving like this and another is moving this, so the particle will come closer to each other, so this region will correspond to the compression. So B part will correspond to the compression. In case of D, if you will see na, these particles are moving towards left, so these are moving towards right, so particles are moving away from each other, so this will correspond to rarefaction. So option B is the correct one. B will correspond to compression. Question 22, a source X emits a sound wave of constant frequency f. The wave is subsequently received at a stationary detector Y. Frequency of the wave that is detected by Y is less. If the frequency detected less, this means either the source is moving away from the observer or observer is moving away from the source. Source is X, means source is moving away from Y. Option C is correct. Question 23, a beam of visible light is in vacuum. What could be the frequency of the light? We know that range of visible light wavelength is 400 nanometer to 700 nanometer. And frequency of visible light is 3 into 10 raised to power 8. So any value you can take. You can take light, let's take 500 nanometer. Then, sorry, here speed of the, right, sorry, speed is given as 3 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. So frequency will be equal to speed by lambda. Speed is 3 into 10 raised to power 8 divided by lambda, let's say 500 nanometer I am taking. So it will come out to be, on solving you will get frequency f is equal to 3 into 10 raised to power 8. Let's say it is 600. So calculation will be quite easy. So it will come out to be like 5 into 10 raised to power 8, 6 and 9, 15. So it should be 9 at 8, wait. I think I have done a mistake or what? So frequency is equal to speed upon wavelength. Speed is given 3 into 10 raised to power 8 and wavelength is given as like 400 nanometer to 700. Let's take 600 nanometer. So it will be 600 into 10 raised to power minus 9. So it will come out to be, if I take 0.5 into 10 raised to power 9 and 8, 6, 9, 15. So 5 into 10 raised to power 14 it will come out to be. Option D is the correct one. Question 24. A vertically polarized beam of light of intensity I naught is incident normally on a polarizing filter. The transmission axis of the filter is at 45 degree to the vertical. Beam of light transmitted by this filter is then incident normally on a second filter. The transmission axis is horizontal. What is the intensity of the beam of light after transmission through the second filter? Now, as per law of Malus, we know that intensity is given as initial intensity into cos square theta. Here theta is 45, so here the intensity I1 will be equal to I0 into cos square 45. Now this will be the incident intensity for this. Now see, one of the confusion students can have is, if this is the transmission axis is horizontal, then it should be 0 intensity. But see here, the first one filter is at angle 45 degree. So here again the angle theta will become 45 degree. So again it will become, now incident intensity is I naught cos square 45 into again cos square 45. And we know that cos 45 is 1 by root 2, so it will become 1 by 2 into 1 by 2, that is I naught by 4. Option B is correct. Question 25. The stationary wave is formed by two progressive waves traveling in opposite directions along the same line of travel. Which statement about the two progressive waves is not correct? Now, two progressive waves traveling in opposite direction. Which statement is not correct? Okay, stationary wave is formed. Yeah. We know that when stationary wave is formed, this means they must have same frequency, they must be traveling with the same speed, and they must have the same wavelength, and they must have zero phase difference. So option A is not correct because they are writing constant. So option B wrong, C wrong, D wrong, option A is the correct. Question 26. Sound from a loudspeaker placed above a tube causes resonance of the air in the tube. A stationary tube wave is formed with two node to antinode. Tube has a height of 60 centimeter. speed is given, frequency. So if we know lambda, we can find frequency. Now see here, in this length of 60 centimeter, like 3 by 4 lambda is there. The easiest way to do is just consider this as a complete wave and consider this as the first part, like one part, second part, three parts, and fourth. Now see how many parts are there. 1, 2, and 3 mean 3/4 of the wavelength is present in this length L. So lambda will be 4 by 3 into L, that is 4 by 3 into 60. So it will come out to be like it will come out to be 80 into 60, it will come out to be 80 centimeter. So it is 80 centimeter, and or we can say 0.8 meter. Speed is given, we know that frequency is equal to speed by lambda, so it will 340 divided by 0.8, so it will come out to be 430 hertz. Question 27. A continuous progressive water wave in a ripple tank passes through a gap in a barrier and diffracts. The width of the gap is greater than the wavelength. What change causes the wave to spread over a large area? Means large area angle means more diffraction will be there. When the see the gap is greater than the wavelength. So when gap is greater than the wavelength, so there will not be as much diffraction. So to increase the diffraction, the gap must be reduced. Means smaller decrease in the width of the gap. Question 28. The diagram shows a view from above of a double slit interference demonstration. L is a monochromatic light source with a vertical filament. B is a barrier with two narrow slits. S is screen. Intensity is I at the point where the center of the fringe patterns forms. So when one of the slit is covered, what is the intensity at the same point? Now see, when one of the slit will be covered, so amplitude will be halved because this will be covered. So only from this we will be receiving amplitude will be halved, and intensity is equal to proportional to amplitude square. So if amplitude is halved, intensity will be 1/4. It will become 1/4. That is I by 4 it will become. Or question 29. Green light of wavelength 550 nanometer is incident normally on a diffraction grating and produces a diffraction pattern on a screen placed 3.5 meter from the diffraction grating. Third order maximum on the screen is a distance of 0.75 meter from the zeroth order maximum. What is the distance between two adjacent slits? Now d you have to find small d. We know that we have expression d sine theta is equal to n lambda. N is given 3, lambda is given 550 into 10 raised to power minus 9. So what is sine theta we have to calculate? See here, if using trigonometry we can find sine theta. So sine theta we know that is equal to perpendicular by hypotenuse. So this is right angle triangle, this is perpendicular, so this hypotenuse will be 3.5 square plus 0.75 square ka square root. So sine theta will come out to be perpendicular, that is 0.75 divided by 3.5 square plus 0.75 square root. Now from this equation we have to find the distance between the slits d. So d is equal to n lambda by sine theta. Substituting 3 into 550 into 10 raised to power minus 9 divided by 0.75 into 3.5 square plus 0.75 square. On solving you will get d is equal to 7.9 into 10 raised to power minus 6 meters. So option C is the correct one. Question 30. Which charge can be carried by a charge carrier? Now we know that as per the quantization of charge, charge q is equal to n times e. It is integral multiple of e only. So if we find n, it will come charge by e. Now if on dividing charge by e, the fundamental charge, if the answer is integer, this means that charge can exist. If it is not, then that will not be possible. So if you will take 1.1 by 1.1 into 10 raised to power minus 19 by 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19, it will not be an integer. Even this is not an integer, this is not a, only this will be integer. 4.8 into 10 raised to power minus 19 by 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19, that is 3. Question 31. A resistor of resistance R is connected across a cell of electromotive force E and negligible internal resistance. Which single change to the circuit would lead to the largest increase in power dissipated? Now we know that power dissipation is given as P is equal to V square by R. So doubling the value of E will increase the power by a factor of 4. Doubling the value of R will decrease by 2. So it will be 1 by 2. Halving the value of E, it will reduce by 1 by 4. Halving the value of R will increase by 2. So this doubling the value of E will increase the power dissipation. Option A is correct. Question 32. An electric cable is made up of one thick strand of copper wire that is surrounded by 8 thin strands of copper wire. All 9 strands are connected in parallel with each other. Each thin strand has cross-section area A and length L. Thick strand has cross-section area 4A and length L. Cable has total resistance R. Which expression gives the resistivity? Okay. So now if all these 8 are connected in parallel, this means ki resistance of net resistance of these small square will be these small strands will be resistance of 1 divided by the 8, and resistance of 1 will be resistivity rho, let's say it is rho. Length of thin is L and area is A, rho L by A and divided by 8. Okay. Now the resistance of this thick strand will be resistance of thick will be, now it is also made up of copper, so R will remain, rho will remain same. Length is L and area is 4A. Now these are also connected in parallel, so net resistance will be Rs into RT divided by Rs plus RT. We can now you can directly solve, or let assume this as X, so it will come out to be X by 8 and this will come out to be X by 4, where X is equal to rho L by A. So this will come out to be X by 4 into X by 8 divided by X by 4 plus X by 8. So on solving you will get X by 12. So this means this will be the net resistance, and it is net resistance is R. R is equal to X by 12. So R is equal to X. Now X is rho L by A. So from this, rho is equal to 12 into A into R divided by L. So option D is correct. Question 33. A car has sensors for detecting light intensity and temperature of its environment. The sensor make use of LDR and thermistor. Car moves from a warm dark environment into a cold bright environment. What are the changes to the resistance of the LDR and thermistor? Okay, we know that LDR, if it is moving into bright environments, resistance should increase, and for thermistor, when it is moving in cold environment, its resistance should also increase. So for 33 option, which one is correct? Wait. In case of LDR, it is light dependent resistor. So with a bright environment, more light intensity will be there, so its resistance will decrease. For LDR, resistance will decrease, and for thermistor in cold, its resistance will increase. So option C is the correct. 34th, a student assembled the circuit as shown. Which row describes the state of two lamps? Now we can see from here current will be divided, here again divided. So this is forward biasing, reverse biasing. So in both the cases, both the lamps will work, because here also current is being passed through this diode. Here also this diode is working, this is working. So lamp 1 and lamp both will work. So option D is the correct. 35. Kirchhoff's first law is consequence of conservation of charge. It is based on the law of conservation of charge. Question 36. Three identical cells each have electromotive force E and negligible internal resistance. The cells are connected to three identical resistors, each of resistance R. What is the potential difference across one of the resistors? So you can apply Kirchhoff's second law. Let's say we are considering this loop. So total EMF is equal to sum of the EMF is equal to sum of the potential drops. So it will be E plus E minus E is equal to 3 times IR. So E is equal to 3 times IR. IR is the potential drop across 1. So IR will be E by 3. So option B is correct. 37. In the potentiometer circuit, the reading on the ammeter is 0. LDR is then covered and ammeter gives a non-zero reading. Which change could return the ammeter reading to 0? Now when LDR is covered, ammeter gives a non-zero reading. So what does that mean? Like if LDR is covered, this means current is lowered here. So this means here the potential drop is, when the current will be lowered, potential drop is decreasing in this region. If it is decreasing, so in this region also, to if you want to make it balance, means when reading 0 balancing condition you want, this means you will decrease the this length so that the potential difference will be reduced, because we know that potential difference will be potential will dependent on the length. More the length, more will be the resistance, more will be the potential difference. Less the length, less the resistance, less the potential difference. So it will be moved toward the left. So option C is the correct one. Question 38. What are isotopes? So isotopes are the elements, same element with different number of neutrons. Option C is the correct one. Question 39. Neutron is fired at uranium nucleus. Neutron is absorbed by nucleus, then splits to form nuclei of one. Okay. This means this equation is given 0 and 1 plus 92 uranium 235. It will give 56 barium 141 plus 36 krypton 92 plus some neutrons will be there. Now see, here it is 235 plus 1 236, and here it is 141 plus 92 233. So means 3 neutrons should be released. 3 neutrons. Option D is correct. Question 40. A pi plus meson has a charge of plus E, where E is the elementary charge. Okay. It consists of an up quark and one other quark. So, and we know that charge on up quark is plus 2 by 3E. Means plus 2 by 3E plus charge Q is equal to plus E. So this charge Q is equal to E minus 2E by 3. That is E by 3. Okay. Now we know that if I write the values of charge for all, up, top, strange, down, bottom and char. For up it is plus 2 by 3E. For top it is plus 2 by 3E. For strange minus 1 by 3E. For down minus 1 by 3E. For bottom minus 1 by 3, and for charge plus 2 by 3. Now, E by 3 means for charm it is plus 2 by 3, so this is not an option. For down minus bottom minus 1 by 3, this is not an option. Now anti up, for up it is 2 by 3, for anti up it will be minus 2 by 3, so it will not be an option. Only option left is anti down. For down minus 1 by 3, for anti down it will be E by 3. So option A is the correct. Thanks for watching the video.